He's a local here. It's not Nick. What's his name? God, I can't think. He's one of the subscribers in a comic book store.
Oh.
Here's your timesheet also. We need to fill those out and provide them to Wendy.
Alright. Full copy. Yeah, one smart thing I did when I got my passport card. I don't have to, so I didn't have to bother with the real ID.
Oh.
Is there a place we stick stuff for Wendy?
Yeah, she has I think a
A mailbox.
mailbox over there.
Secretary?
Yeah, that'll get to one of them.
Well, I just take one of the folders and write Wendy on it, or do I just stick it in there?
There ought to be a Wendy folder there, but if not, just go ahead and write on it.
What was that?
I said there should be a Wendy folder over there, but if there isn't, just grab one and write. Hi, folks.
I didn't know any better, I'd say there was a meeting going
Hey, sweetie.
on. Hey, girlfriend. What's up?
What's up? Here's the papers for you.
Here's the, here's gonna be, are you gonna be putting stuff in there for Wendy, or?
Eventually, yeah.
If you want, just put that in, but all that's, all my paperwork.
Oh, okay, sure.
You mind putting your names on that paper to show the meeting? So that will turn it into the minutes. That's got to go here.
We don't do that at the township meetings.
They do.
No, they don't.
Supposed to.
Maybe it's just the way they are.
There you go, Mr. G.
Oh.
Good luck.
It's been great meeting you.
Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Robert,
Good evening.
what are you up
Good
to?
evening, my friend.
Where am I off to?
No, what are you up to? No good,
Coming
probably.
to check it out on you. This is check auditors night, isn't it?
Hi, Judy.
Hi, John. How you doing?
You okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Your chicken's back in order yet?
My guess eats.
And the hamburger.
All right.
You got a bag?
All right. Hang on. Yeah, you need a,
That's what I got.
Copy of that.
okay.
Let us get the groups.
Okay, here are, we probably ought to give each of us a copy of this. Is the printer still up?
Yeah, the photocopier?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's scars on it.
Oh, that's a nice. Oh, well, it's not a star.
I didn't see you last
Let me
night.
come in and take a copy of this. Almost time.
Jeez, they're in the truck. Kirk's got it. Remind me to get my junk out of the truck.
What's in your truck?
All my stuff in my pockets, including my calculator. You got a calculator?
I have a calculator if you need it. Well, what you got?
this thing to work for you.
And that's his, so he's full-time. And Bob is part-time. Last night, it's 21.50.
Divided by how much?
21.50.
Very quiet, very quick. I mean,
Should be starting.
we took 15 minutes to do all of the stuff on the roll, coming back tonight, and then 15 minutes for the regular meeting, and 15 minutes for the like 6:31. It was,
Okay, that's about it.
yeah, it was just quick and easy, that's what I like.
You got it.
What is it, 20?
21.50. I believe that's it. So it's less than full-time.
There.
Full
Now
time
your
is
government know where you are.
2,040 hours.
I don't think they know where they are.
40 times
Like this.
50.
That doesn't count, that's not a car.
Well, that's not exactly.
It's the same as I did.
Yeah.
All right.
They wanna know where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to forget last
Sir.
name to just remember the first name.
That's what I did, start with that.
Then I'll.
You're looking very official
I know
tonight.
it's Judy, and then it started
Boy,
with
have
an
I
H.
got you
Okay.
bamboozled.
Well, I got Jackie and Jeff, maybe I'll remember.
I'm pulling a John
But
Federer.
I'm Kathy.
Speak in
That's okay.
one sentence.
Let's see.
I'll-
This
I'll
is a
read
good
it.
political getup.
Get Katie from it.
They need to be close to.
Only American comfortable and warm.
Yeah. They had four, three
I
straight.
didn't leave for that. My hands are so slippery.
Dog, you need your frog?
Just
He gets.
John.
He gets. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
What'd you say?
and another
I
John.
said, dog. He gets. Was ist los? Nothing.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah.
All right.
I need one more, so, yeah, I should have punched.
John, why don't you show your wife how to work the copy? I don't remember.
That should be that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I need to be trained how to do copiers.
Yeah.
It's too computerized for me.
Okay, here's copies of the minutes. There you go. All right, we will call the meeting to order. We'll introduce ourselves, folks that may not know us. I'm Kate Bostek. I am currently the chairman of this group. Richard?
Richard Swyatt. I am currently the co-chair of this group.
And
Vince G, I'm probably going to be the secretary.
boy, he was
That's a
good.
good suggestion.
What a clever fellow he is. Okay, that's also roll call, so. Okay, as far as electing officers,
Well, I make a motion to make Vincent G. the secretary.
okay, we can start with secretary. I second that motion.
Before he changes his mind.
There you go. All in favor?
Aye. You guys have it. Motion carried.
Give me a second, I'm not that fast at this paper.
Okay, for chairman,
I nominate you.
second,
You have to say her name.
I nominate Kate Bostek for chairman.
Thank you.
any
Ready?
seconds?
Are you gonna second that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, so far, that's only one aye.
Aye.
That's two. And for vice chair, I nominate Richard Swyatt. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Oh, that's right, thank you.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Can I
okay.
vote for myself?
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay, now, the next is to review the minutes.
can I make a suggestion?
You may.
Can we move the public comments to the front as opposed to at the end?
I don't have a problem with that. Do you have a problem with
I
that?
have no problem with that.
Okay,
Yeah, we can accept comments from the public first, just in case anybody has any suggestions.
or if they want to leave early, whichever the case may be. I was under the impression that might be what it was. Yeah,
Well, that too, also, but I'm just saying, after we make our decision, then what's the sense of public comments? It's
Sure.
already,
so, do we have some public comments? Anybody have anything to ask? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know what the current, salary is for the supervisors before.
It
we
is
do.
$23.10 an hour.
23% an hour.
Could I get your first name?
Judith Hogan.
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Bostic?
Did you address Judy's question?
Yes.
2310.
That's right. I noticed on tonight's agenda, you're going to confirm treasurer and assistant treasurer's bond.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, when I was supervisor, we were told that any interference with the mail by anyone who was not bonded would break the chain of custody on the, whether it was money that was being mailed or what. And I have learned, and since Mr. Barlow is here tonight, maybe he can comment on this. I've learned that Mr. Barlow is opening the mail and keeping his own ledger book, which breaks the chain of custody.
I have no problem with keeping his own ledger book. Mickey, do you want to make a comment on that? Do you have, does somebody work with you on that, or how is that?
I'm making no comments on it. Was advised by, other than we were advised by our CPA firm that we needed to have a chain of custody with mail coming in and an overseer of that, and the chairman of the board of supervisors within his power and authority was able to do that.
But you're not bonded.
Doesn't mean being bonded. I don't touch the bank accounts.
I would like to see that in writing from the,
Well, Mr. Bostic, you can put anything you would like to see in a vote to never pass.
well, I'm asking you now, and I'll
Well, I'm telling you that
submit
in
request
writing.
as well.
No, you can put it right and you'll receive whatever you
So, so
Not
Mr.
on
Barlow,
the
your,
agenda.
your claims is that the CPA advised you that it is okay for you to.
The CPA advised us that we needed to have a chain of custody, a mail coming in and not going out, and any reference indicating,
That you're advised, that you advised you that you were authorized to open that.
yes. All supervisors are looking at, I don't know who might advise him that, but all supervisors, at the end of the day, are responsible for all interactions with the township, period. Even if people are bonded, we're still responsible to them, to the township as a whole. The supervisors are responsible in the day,
That's,
bonded or not bonded.
yes, at the end of the day, but not opening the mail.
Well, anyhow, I'm not going to argue that point with you, Mr. Hoffman.
Okay, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, that's not on the agenda, so I don't believe you can discuss it because it's not on the agenda, but
Correct.
my,
They are
my
correct.
second question is, and I was at last night's meeting, and they said the current and then the new, but what is the, treasurer's and assistant treasurer's bond? currently?
$800,000.
It's $800,000.
I thought they said last year, and that's for each of them?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought that's what they said, but it's not, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've got copies of them right here.
I haven't seen them.
Yes, sir.
I'm just smiling.
Oh, I thought you had a question.
I thought you had your hand up.
I did, but
You took it down?
Yeah, my question is, I was on board too. And if you are not writing a check out or signing a check to be paid to a party, you do not need to be bonded if you're opening the mail and putting the checks where they belong. I mean, and not unless you're writing a check, do you need to be bonded on board.
Could you say your name, please?
John Hutzel,
John
Hutzel.
Hudson.
I mean, you don't need to be bonded if you're not writing checks or anything.
Okay, this, I do not know, I don't have an answer for that.
But I understand his concern too, I mean, I see both ways of it.
Are you making the comment to me now?
Yes, but I see your way of asking too.
If money comes up missing and you have a bonded secretary or two bonded secretaries,
Again, this is not a part of tonight's discussion. It should not be on, it's not an agenda item for discussion tonight.
yes, it is.
Well, we
The
have
bond
to
is
approve
not-
the bond and the reason for the bond.
The reason for the bond are for the secretary and treasurer, because they handle the accounts.
Yes.
I don't have any accounts.
Well, then why are you opening the mail?
I don't have any accounts. That's another discussion, it's not a discussion for tonight.
I think the main question, and I'm, you know, I can hear what you're saying and I understand both sides of it. The main question is, there's, you know, one set of eyes at a time looking at the mail. You know, we had this discussion back in the earlier days when we were going through the audits and so forth of who should be looking at, you know, who should be receiving the mail, who should see the checks as they come in and things like that. And there were lots of discussions about whether there would be one person, two persons. It felt, you know, like two people should be doing it, so that, you know, one is kind of a check and balance on the other type of thing. I don't know exactly how all that got resolved, because that was, you know, obviously resolved after we stopped doing our audits. But it's a good point, and I think it's one that, you know, as a supervisor, you may want to consider having a second person with you when you're looking at it, if the time is available. You know, that's,
Oh.
it just keeps
We'll
you,
take that
it
on
keeps you
advisory,
safe.
we'll take that on advisory, how's that?
Yeah, it keeps you safe as well. You know, it protects your interests. Okay, yes ma'am.
Real quick, my name is Kathy Campbell.
Hi Kathy.
Hello, and I'm new to all this. I
Oh,
know
great.
we just elected you guys in November, but how long does your term last?
6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Unless there's somebody that's filling in, like Bob here filled in for about a year, here this past year, for a person that
Term
That,
is for 4 years.
resigned early.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a 6-year term.
Okay.
Okay.
But just as a comment to Mr. Bostic and Mr. Barlow's talk, when we were doing our audits before we were no longer necessary, we would be, one of the things we would be doing would be checking. I would have the bank statements and I'd be looking for deposits made from checks that were written for fines that, was it you?
Myself
You
as a
had,
rule, yeah.
she had the money coming in and I was checking the bank statements for that date to make sure the money that came in was going into the bank. That was one of the things we were doing before we determined that it was counterintuitive, I don't know, not necessary?
Not necessary.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions?
Any more comments?
Any more comments?
Not
I'll tell you, I've been here, oh my goodness, how many years? This is the first year that we've actually had more than my husband and Mrs. Hogan
I wasn't
here.
here last year.
You weren't here last year, but I am so glad to have you folks. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that you're interested
Here, here.
and want to be here. You know, that's important. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And it's not even snowing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth, boy.
No, my brains are telling me.
Let's have our new secretary go ahead and read the minutes from last year.
The Board of Auditors of Liberty Township, Adams County met Wednesday, January 4th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building located at 39 Topper Road, Fairfield, Pennsylvania 17320. The meeting was streamed live on Liberty Township's YouTube channel. Present was Chair Kathleen Bostek, Co-Chair Richard Swyatt, and Secretary Robert Jackson. At 6 p.m., Chair Kathleen Bostek called the meeting to order. Kathleen Bostek called for nominees for chair. Richard Swyatt made a motion to appoint Kathleen Bostek as chair. Robert Jackson seconded the motion, and all voted yes, and the motion passed. Kathleen Bostek made a motion to appoint Richard Swyatt as co-chair. Robert Jackson seconded the motion, all voted yes, and the motion passed. Kathleen Bostek made a motion to appoint Robert Jackson as secretary. Richard Swyatt seconded the motion, all voted yes, and the motion passed. They reviewed approved meeting minutes. Chair Bostek read the January 4th, 2022 meeting minutes provided by former Secretary Suzanne Heck into the record. Robert Jackson made a motion to accept the minutes. Richard Swyatt seconded the motion. All voted yes, and the motion passed. Chair Bostek requested the newly appointed Secretary Robert Jackson prepare the meeting minutes for the December 21st, 2022 meeting. They set the hourly compensation of working supervisors. The auditors discussed the current rates and job performance of the working supervisors. Richard Swyatt commented that Mr. Barlow works hard and does an adequate job maintaining the township roads. He added that Mr. Barlow routinely checks the roads and stays on top of potential issues. Catherine Bostek agreed with Mr. Swyatt, and Robert Jackson noted that it is vital to support the township roads and the police department. He also added that Mr. Kai Holtz also does an adequate job on the roads as well. Roadmaster, after considerable discussion regarding inflation and the cost of living increases, Robert Jackson made a motion to set the hourly rate for the roadmaster to $25. Mr. Swyatt and Chair Bostek both disagreed with Mr. Jackson. The motion died for a lack of a second. In response to Mr. Jackson's suggestion, Chair Bostek recommended a 10% raise. Mr. Swyatt concurred with Ms. Bostek. Chair Bostek made a motion for a 10% increase in the roadmaster's hourly rate. Mr. Swyatt seconded the motion. Mr. Jackson voted no. Chair Bostek voted yes. Mr. Swyatt voted yes. The motion passed. Part-time road crew. Robert Jackson made a motion for a 10% increase in the part-time road crew hourly rate. Mr. Swyatt seconded the motion. All voted yes. The motion passed. Building maintenance supervisor. Chair Bostek asked Mr. Jackson to inform the Board of Auditors about the discussion the Board of Supervisors had on his position. Mr. Jackson reported that the Board of Supervisors were against creating this new position at the time of the January meeting. Confirmation of the treasurer's and assistant treasurer's bond. Chair Bostek made a motion to confirm that the treasurer and assistant treasurer's bonds at $800,000 each. Mr. Jackson seconded the motion. All voted yes, and the motion passed. There was no public comments. At 7:08 p.m., Catherine Bostek made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Robert Jackson seconded the motion. All voted yes, and the motion passed. Respectfully submitted, Robert Jackson, Secretary, Liberty Township Board of Auditors.
I must admit, that's probably the best minutes we've ever had. The name is Kate.
Kate, we
Don't
have to
call me
amend
that.
the minutes, I make a motion that we amend the minutes to properly name you as Kate,
You're wrong.
not Catherine.
I'm not even going.
You're not a Catherine.
I am a Catherine.
Oh, well, I stand corrected.
That's what my mother called me when I was in trouble, which was often enough. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as read. Do I have a second?
I'll second it with the changing of your name to Kate.
I can do with Catherine, it's all right.
All right. And I make a motion to accept the minutes and make the secretary spell your name properly at this meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to
Seconded.
withhold.
Beg your pardon?
I withhold, because I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. Well, two of us have approved it, so the meeting, or the minutes will be approved as read. All right, that's accomplished. Next, we're setting our hourly compensation for our working supervisors. And at this point, I'm going to apologize to everyone. I would like to hold off on making that approval for at least a week or two until we can do some additional investigation. I've received some information, but I feel like I need to have a little bit more in order to make a fair and equitable decision on the rates for our working supervisors.
I'd like to comment on that too.
Please do.
When Mr. Kaiholtz pointed out all of the responsibilities of the roadmaster at, I think it was the February supervisors meeting, and we didn't address any of that. I've been querying some of the residents in the township as to his comments, and I'm in a quandary because if we decide to increase one salary, then in order to stay in budget or not spend any money, we have to maintain the supervisors, the other supervisors' salary. So in other words, keep one salary the same and increase the roadmaster's salary is what my problem is. I tend to agree with Mr. Kaiholtz of all the extra work that Mr. Barlow is doing, or his experience, or all of his knowledge and meetings that he has to go to, and in order to qualify to be a roadmaster. So I'm glad you want to do further research on this, because I don't really, at this point in time, the budget is finalized,
Mm-hmm.
and I also queried the township secretary that if we increase salaries, the money will be found and removed from other areas. Because the budget is already fixed and there are no taxes to be raised.
We,
This is all for next year, and that's the quandary that I'm in. I want it to be fair, and the comments are simply that every supervisor in any industry makes more than the people he's supervising.
right, and that's a very good, valid point.
And Mr. Barlow is the roadmaster, so anybody under him should not be making the same. But I don't know how to correct that.
Now that will,
Well, if you want to have another meeting to discuss that one particular problem, I'd be appreciative of any comments.
The other issue that, now I'm new to this, so I might not be aware of it, but if I come from the corporate world, I have no paperwork in front of me that states what certifications the road crew and the roadmaster has received this year. I have no annual review. I have no accomplishments. I have no history of what they've done for the year to be able to say that whether or not a raise is merited. I mean, I understand cost of living. I have no problem with COLAs, but to merit a increase, one must be able to demonstrate that they merit an increase. So I believe that delaying setting a increase would be wise so that we could give these people time to put together a list of what they've achieved last year so that we know and we can see and we can read the certifications they've got, the work they've done, the hard work they've done, so that when it comes time to set the salary, we can say, okay, we can justify it because, wow, he got 10 certifications. He went through this much trouble with this. He paved these roads. He,
So
did
many
this.
hours of training.
He went to this many hours of training. We have none of that. Right now, we're blind. How can I, as a person duly elected, set a salary out of thin air without having any information on what was achieved?
That's a very valid point. It's something that I feel like I haven't really taken close enough,
And something
attention
else,
to.
as far as the legal part of this,
May I comment?
go ahead.
I attend almost every supervisor's meeting, every monthly meeting, I may have missed one during the summer. All of that is recorded, it's on tape. The roadmaster makes a lengthy report, he gives his certifications, he gives what he has done, what he has accomplished. If you came to the meetings, you could hear it, if you watched it on tape, you could hear it, if you read the minutes, you could get them, so that information is
I understand.
always available.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is if I told my boss, you watch me all year, you know what I do, I don't feel like doing an annual review, I don't feel like giving you a summary for what I do during the year to justify my increase, he's not gonna give me an increase. I would like to see on paper what was done. I should not have to attend other meetings to scrounge together information to be able to determine what needs to be done. It should be documented.
Maybe you could ask the secretary to go through the minutes and make a list of that for you.
Yeah, we can go over the minutes of the whole year, just the roadmaster's report, if necessary.
Who makes an objective report on the working road staff?
Hey, I used to have to do it for myself every year. You have to do it for yourself
Mhm.
every year. We always had to submit, gee, wasn't I great?
But that was
Every
still,
year.
perused by not perused, but.
It was verified.
It was verified by,
By supervision.
right.
You have a
Provided objective
supervisor.
evidence. Oh, yeah, several. Yeah, and you always had to provide objective evidence of what you've accomplished, even though your boss saw you out there working all the time. That's just one of those.
We've got a paved road crew that says they've done this, they've done that. But who's looking over them to judge if they did a good job or
Well, I could verify that.
Well, the roads
That's a
aren't falling
good
apart,
job,
so
just drive down
obviously
Winchell.
they're doing a good job.
It's no argument as far as the job that's being done by our.
I have no problem with the job. My thing is I want documentation.
And we got a snowstorm coming, and I'm appreciative of those guys that get out in them stupid trucks and keep the roads clear. You guys are on a state highway, that's a different story. But on our roads, the township roads, they're right there. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that work's being done. So, I'd like to have the discussion in public with no problem on my end. But like Kate said, you guys just showing up is a big help. I mean, I'm I may have been doing this for 6 years, but I'm just here to add numbers. Ask Kate, she'll tell you I'd spend about 2 hours just on about making sure the payroll numbers matched the payroll. Time sheets match the payroll. That's what I thought we were doing. And so I think research into this instead of but the legal part is what I'm worried about. Do we have to assign it today, or can we put it back?
We can postpone it for, I would say, not an indefinite period. We need to establish a date, sometime in January, I would say, within a couple of weeks.
Well,
I
there's
can
no
pull in some
lawyer here.
information.
We got enough supervisors in the room, ex-supervisors, to tell us whether it's right
But
or
you have to
wrong.
also give them time to re-advertise the meeting.
Yeah, well, I make a motion that we table this salary discussion until we can advertise another meeting.
Right, and I would say at least 2 weeks, but
Yeah, then I'll make an effort to try and help get paperwork needed.
that's good. I mean, we can easily
I
get
don't do
copies.
computers, so.
Does Wendy keep copies of all of your certifications? Okay, that'll be easy then. She can
Yeah.
easily make copies
And
for
we
us.
I can get copies of all the minutes, of all the all, you know, the whole year of working minutes, Judy. There's no problem there. I mean, I go, you know, I'm at the
You've been
supervisor.
missing lately, Richard.
Well, I can't help it, I'm getting old and I'm forgetful.
Aren't we all?
I'm going through mental pause.
Uh-huh, right.
No comment.
Thank you, Kate.
I use the computer between my ears, thank you very much.
That explains a lot.
Is this meeting being taped?
Sure.
There
Yes.
should be, I don't see a red light on.
It's supposed to be.
You used to have a remote controller to turn it on.
All the
It says up
meetings.
there, public meetings in this room are being recorded.
But it has to be turned on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, somebody's gotta turn the on switch, even Mr. Barlow told me they can once in a while. Richard, turn the switch,
It's on,
it's on, okay.
it's programmed.
I know we don't turn them on for the planning commission meeting, and they're recorded.
Okay. And there's another thing I'm curious about, this is a public meeting with public input, thanks again, but there's no phone here for anybody to call in. They may be watching the meeting, want to comment, but they cannot call in. So
We stopped that.
you stopped that, okay.
Once they let the COVID, that was for COVID, that was during COVID. For public comment during COVID.
Encoded?
During COVID.
During COVID.
Oh.
During the time that there
We
was.
could, we could only have so many people in the room.
Ah,
We set it up. with-
I don't think we gotta worry about that. I've never, the only overflow we had was when Wormwood showed up. We had to
Richard,
go to the fire.
I don't like being vague, and just say, hey, we wanna delay this meeting because we want more information. I like to be quite direct in what we're looking for. We are looking, so if you could tell me, just so I create a bulleted list for the minutes, what it is exactly that what we're looking for, certifications.
Say, yeah, copies of certs.
Certifications achieved this last year
For the road crew.
for the road crew.
The road master and.
What else are we looking for?
The
Uh,
assistant road master, is that?
It'd be for the whole road crew, each
Yeah.
person, yes.
It'd be
Because
just-
that would be determining what the merit increase is.
yeah,
That's one of the things I'm looking for. Projects finished,
right.
finished,
Or, you know, at least projects worked upon,
projects, yeah,
because, you know, as we know, some projects are ongoing.
true, projects worked on.
Any savings that might have been accomplished?
Any fiscal savings on projects.
I'm always a big one on that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because that would definitely sway me a lot. What else would we be looking for?
Number of hours worked,
That shouldn't affect the wage.
Mhm.
okay.
This is a merit-based increase. In a merit-based increase, we need concrete evidence to explain why we're giving a merit-based increase. So we need to have measurable indexes so that we cannot be accused of going one way or the other willy-nilly based on our emotions. Yes, John?
Years of experience?
Years of experience.
That's a
Mile,
good one.
the other thing,
How
miles
about the
of,
disparity of pay between
that's good, I
the road
agree.
master?
Miles of road managed versus miles of road managed by other townships.
And, yeah, and
Roads,
before,
if you can't compare them, they're different roads.
I'm
No,
sorry,
miles.
ma'am?
So, for example, if we have a roadmaster making $50,000 a year next door, but he's managing
Right,
50 miles,
right.
and we're only have, 20 miles?
17.
We have 17 miles here, well, that kind of explains the salary difference.
Well, Also, there are some classes that don't give certification.
But taking them is just as, is
Yeah.
Well,
to be
it's
recorded.
time.
Classes.
That should be recorded.
The
when it's
time
done.
required to take the class.
Yes, taking the class counts. Miles, you know, for the, for the salary survey.
We gotta take in consideration here too, we have a lot of woods in this area. And I mean, let's just say Cumberland Township. They don't have near the woods and everything that we have here. And I know, I see Mickey go by my house at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And when we get bad storms, I mean, we gotta take all this in consideration.
Right, and that's why I made the comment that some of the work is ongoing, because they're out there, you know, John, my husband still gets phone calls periodically, he hadn't been a supervisor now for a while, but he still gets calls sometimes that there's a tree down somewhere.
And like you said.
But you must understand, there's a difference between doing the job, which is, responsibilities of the job, versus improving oneself, being a leader, years of experience, improving oneself. Those things are the things that determine merit increase. Just because he does his job, it's in his description. Unless it's not in his description, because I do not have a job description for him. That would be nice also, job descriptions.
Do
So
we
that
have one for you, sir?
Do we have job descriptions? You know, I'd like a copy of the job
Yeah,
description.
that'd be great.
So that we know what is in scope and what is not in scope.
Yeah, I think you might have to determine if you're gonna do merit raises or you're gonna do, comparison raises of other county and municipalities. So the board would have to decide how they're gonna do their raises. They're gonna do it by merit system, or you're gonna do it by county-wide comparison rate of roadmasters, road crews, full-time, part-time. Those are things to be determined.
Right, there's certainly, that's one of the things that I want to do is, I've got a call into PSATs right now for their salary survey.
Right.
And hopefully for 2023, and we'll be looking at that and making some determinations on that. But yes, I agree that's important also, that's something to look at.
Well, this is what we did, how we came to our conclusion last year.
Right.
We went from we had the data from surrounding townships, and we took the high and the low and came up with the average. Because I imagine we're not exemplary, we're more than the average.
I know that the wage that we set was actually above what the part-time wages were. Because, are you guys now, are you full-time or are you still part-time?
No, I'm not going full-time.
Okay, the part-time wages were lower than what we set for our part-time people. Might have been a little bit lower in some cases for the full-time people, and that's as an average from the survey that PSATs took. So but you're right, we need to look at a number of different things, and that's why I would like to have a bit more time. I didn't get the information that I wanted in time, holidays,
And the
But-
budget thing,
right?
the budget discussion swamped our secretary and her assistants.
That's the other thing is that I have a concern about is, and it's due to my ignorance because up until I got elected, I really wasn't paying attention.
There's a lot to learn, it's amazing.
Where in the budget did we allocate a slush for these increases? Because let's say we decide, okay, water is significantly underpaid, it needs to go to X amount of dollars a year, an hour. Well, if it's not in the budget, where is that money magically coming from? So, we need to work within the budget as well. So I only got a summary of the budget when I looked online. I didn't see anything that said, you know, I didn't see anything that was broken out at the salary level or, you know, something to that effect that showed me, you know, where the salary was being, you know, where a salary increase was being allocated. So that's something, if it exists, I'd like to know, because otherwise, I really would like to know from the supervisors where they're going to find the money to fund these increases.
The budget that was approved, if I can find it,
I got it here.
okay. I have the 2024 and I don't have the 2023 in front of me right now. But the,
That's the data that was.
is this the 2024? Yeah, that's not
That's
what I'm
the-
looking for.
Oh, okay.
I did get from Wendy, let's see if I can find it here. Can't find it. They do have an overall increase. It was, last year rated at 81,550, for the highway and road maintenance, which included the wages. And for 2024, I think it's bumped up to 93,615.
So they reserved 93,615 for increases.
Right. And that's increases not just in wages, but also in, a
93,000?
list of things, yeah, 93,615.
Yeah, I talked to Wendy about that.
And that was for salary increases?
No, nope, that was for highways and road maintenance, and the road crew prices or wages are built into 01430.
So, but they didn't say, you know, this much is reserved for potential increase.
We can't.
They can't,
We can't
because
do that.
we're setting that,
Legally, we can't do that.
They can't do
No.
that.
right.
And
They bumped it because of increased it because of overall. I
Okay.
do have to say though, last year you were under budget, which was kinda nice.
We've been under budget for the last 7 years.
Yeah, quite a bit under budget actually.
Yes, we have. About $250,000.
That might be overall. I'm looking now at probably, the budget was 81,550 for 2023 and the roads and highway maintenance was 57,3122.
So is that about $20,000?
A little more than 20. That is good. Anytime you're under budget, I'm a happy camper. As a paying taxpaying person.
So they've been 20 grand under budget for the last 3 years?
No, just this year that I don't have the last couple of years.
Walter, have you been 20 grand under budget for the last 3 years?
Well, without looking at the past budget, I know we've been under budget, almost every year.
Well,
Almost every single year.
that's good. That's to be commended.
That's something that should be written down.
I mean, that's one of the things that you can get a plus for. Okay, so I made a motion that we can hold off for making this final decision on the supervisor's wages. I would like to say, Wendy can get something in the paper within 2 weeks. Is that possible? Okay.
so I make a motion that,
No, Kate made the motion, you have to second it.
I second the motion,
That we postpone this discussion for 2 weeks.
till the advertisements can be legally posted.
And we can talk to
And
Wendy
then
about that.
2 weeks from when it's advertised.
Ah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I knew I'd get it out sooner or
There
later.
you go. 2 weeks from advertising. Okay, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
and that would be
Passed.
subject to everybody's availability too,
True.
but I'll be here.
God willing.
No, I tried that, it don't work. I gave up trying. Too much trouble.
examination of treasurer's and assistant treasurer's bond. I have the two bonds here, both of them for $800,000. It appears that they are all signed, sealed, and delivered. You wanna take a look at these?
Sure. Thank you.
I quit.
Now, did you
No, I
receive?
mean it this time.
I wanna make copies of this. This is something that was in the packet that I received. It's a suggested worksheet for setting compensation. I'll make copies of that for you and
Did it bring
Yes.
it up? Other townships.
It's dated 2022, but I think it's probably, looks like it has some valid
Yeah,
request for
if you
information.
make me a copy of this, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will, at the end of the meeting, I'll make you each a copy.
I'll make a motion that we pass the bonds.
I second the motion. Or motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, they all said aye, okay. Very well, any more comments? I'll open it up again.
Yeah, I have one.
That's
Somebody-
always scary.
Somebody mentioned, us living on a state road, and I wonder why we have to pay taxes to the township when we live on a state road.
Because you care.
Because
Same
we love
reason
our
those of us that
township.
don't live in a township.
Don't be a
You
smart
are
aleck.
in the township, smart aleck.
I do have to say,
Yeah, we live in the township, but we live on a private road.
Oh,
So
right.
our roads aren't taken care of by the township.
well,
So
let
we
me
still
tell
pay
you,
taxes.
sometimes the state doesn't do a great job out in front of us either.
Okay, they're usually pretty good on board.
Our
That's
roads
all I
look
care
better than
about.
the state
Oh,
roads,
I think that's
I'm here
true.
to tell you.
I think that's
There,
true.
there's,
Your taxes are based on your parcels, your parcel number, it has nothing to do with the front
See,
footage.
this gal knows all this good stuff.
yeah, I know, she's one of
Planning
them,
commission.
she's one of them, officials.
Now, you're gonna close Steelman Marker again, aren't you, if it gets ugly?
Stillman Marker has signage up that the road is closed during inclement weather.
Okay, that's
No.
We
good.
put it up and people don't listen.
No winter maintenance and no
I tell you
left
what,
turn.
I look at that thing and it scares the daylights out of me. I'm glad you guys decided to do that.
We don't listen, but it's,
You've
it's
done,
not, it's not for us, it's for,
That's
it's for the
right.
township's benefit.
you've
They
done your
cover
best,
us and, if they go down there on their own accord, that's on them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, any more comments? Thank you. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Second?
No, I'm having too much fun.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Vince,
One second.
save me, Vince.
That's 6:48.
Yep.
Yeah.
I concur.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. You're gonna make it jump. The takeoffs are harder than the landings.
Chairs and here's an armrest.
At least the landings, you got gravity.
I agree, John. Either that or we gotta get in shape. I can do it. I can do it. Wait a minute, think about
Oh my goodness. Is this still being videotaped? This needs to be
it.
videotaped.
How about that?
Man, you never even look.
I think I saw that on the Carol Burnett show.
Good to see you again, John. Let me know when your flocks are arriving.
So we stopped at 18:45.
Call it
It's
now.
just,
Call it out.
That was a very fun meeting.
thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
You got nothing but-
You did such a beautiful job on that.
When you're doing it again, let me know.
He was like.
Don't call me Catherine.
know your name was Kate?
Katie,
Call you Kate.
I call her Katie. It's like a katydid. She makes a lot of noise.
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
I think you got most of the lines down. You got a little work to do there.
Husband.
Well, there's a lot of opinions, and it's good to hear all of them, so.
Absolutely.
We're doing that.
I want to hear opinions because this is what we work for, these folks here, you know, this is why we're volunteering.
I swear, I appreciate
So I've got
everybody
points
coming.
both ways tonight, that's what I like to see.
That interaction between
Yeah.
people
And
actually
I
showing
like it
up.
because you can actually hold a conversation.
Hey, put the word out.
Vince,
2 weeks, 3 weeks from
How you
now.
been doing, man?
Doing
Somebody
fine, doing
supervising
fine.
me,
How are you?
It's like,
Tired.
oh my God,
Tired.
this is
Well, you know I have 2
Yeah,
jobs,
but
right?
may I ask your
Two?
name again,
No.
sir?
John Hutzel.
I run the
Hudson.
comic book
I'm
store.
Kate, it's very nice to meet
I'm
you.
running a comic book store in Evansburg.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad
Well,
to
it's
meet you.
Liz, it's a short
I'm
commute.
afraid
Oh no, I still work in Rockville too.
Sometimes
Well,
I
that's
feel
only-
like supervisor, so
I basically drive to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, get home by noon, and then work all afternoon.
You're making me tired.
When John
Well,
was a
keep it up,
supervisor,
you young kids.
some pretty
The
nasty
future's in
times.
your hands.
Yeah.
God help us all. Hey, Rich, pick up on this when you get done.
that's
all
why
the
I'm
time.
saying that every.
Yeah.
They ordered down.
I gotta fill it out.
That's
She
why
said
we got
19
one of the township interviews, see, I had.
6 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
He's always working.
For Friday,
I said, I'm on computer cover, if you wanna see me do out of this. And I
One
said,
total hour.
slander can come with that too.
And he can't even turn over.
It's that white piece.
I worked in Vince's
Yeah.
house.
You got it?
Huh?
Didn't I work in your house?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah,
How are you doing?
I told you I'd vote for you. But
Look
no,
where your pen is.
I just like to visit all the ballot points.
You can't have my journals here. Use this.
I see his points, and I see everything. So,
I
it's just, I'm like, I have a business.
Pardon me?
Hey, guys,
No, happy New Year to you.
And he's got to work somewhere, he's in state.
I can't.
Good luck tomorrow
If I
for
got
Bart.
dad, he could be
Thanks,
less work.
Friday, we're just going into the Friday, Friday's procedure, yeah.
I've got to look down to see the books
Thanks.
come.
I'm sorry, I was elected to be a businessman. Yeah, but,
Business is business and friends are friends, you don't mix them.
Well, that's right. You can't, you cannot.
Yeah, I think you're doing great, I think, I'm glad I came, I'll be at the next one.
Please do, please
To
do.
look for the newspaper that 2 weeks from now, estimated,
That's fine.
she'll advertise me and talk to other people.
You off the school.
Talk to a couple of neighbors, so they can see what's going on, so when they come around complaining about the taxes, they can see how we're wringing our hands.
When I
I
came,
was
this
up in
wasn't
New Jersey
unlocked, I
working.
unlocked it
Yeah.
before you
I'm sorry to
walked.
hear
I'll
that.
make sure it gets locked.
Okay.
I'll tell you one.
You take care, Ted.
Wearing
It's
jerseys.
good to see you.
Oh, that's Nowheresville.
But he told me what his property
Okay,
taxes
great.
were up there,
Yeah, right, tell me.
21,000 a year.
Yeah, my sister's in, not Hackensack, she's in Rutherford, and it's 10K a year.
I've been to Trenton, I've
And
been
she
to
only
South
has-
Harmony, I've been to all them nice little places.
She's only got a 40 by 100 acre lot, and it's 10K a year.
Well, York down here is getting just as bad. My daughter's taxes are 8,400, and she's got maybe half acre with her house. Wow. And that's why I don't complain about my taxes.
No, we're pretty.
Because I used to live in Cumberland Township, and I know what taxes are in Gettysburg.
Take care.
Take care.
I wrote down 1900 as we
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
one full hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today is, what, the 3rd?
I know. I'm gonna call up Brinks and tell them to send a truck with the heavy duty springs, so I don't break the truck with this major deposit when I get my check.
I think when you all,
Let me make a copy of this work, copies of it.
I would rather have this discussion in front of everybody.
yeah,
You know, this is the way I was talking to Vinny about this.
well, what I was gonna say was, I think you ought to keep track of the time that you spend, researching the other townships, comparative wages, you know, all those
Yeah.
things we talked about. Submit a bill to the township.
Yeah, because I did spend a fair bit of time on this.
Yeah.
I'll back you up, because I did,
Okay, I don't think Walter expected what went down, cause I could just see him still.
I can sense it. And since I had more people on my side, I was,
what goes around comes around,
And
John.
I had been putting this one together.
Well, we're still being
for a
taped.
long time.
Did somebody turn the tape machine off?
be careful.
I think we're still on TV.
I was gonna say the same thing, so be careful what you say.
I'm just glad the meeting went well.
No, I'm proud.
I mean, we'll be able to, honestly, he does, honestly, in my opinion, I think he does actually deserve an increase.
He does.
Yeah.
They do a beautiful job. I mean,
It's just how much is the question,
Right.
and based on the amount of roads.
And so, Bobby, I'm in a quandary. How do we keep Bobby lower? Don't increase Bobby and increase
well, like I say, there's
Mickey?
Well,
there's
Walter knows how to
an
do it.
increase. There's an increase in the budget here.
Well, aren't we breaking the sunshine act
Oh.
right
Oh,
now?
no, we're still on tape.
I know, but
no, the meeting's been adjourned.
the
so
meeting's
no.
been adjourned, but we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm
No,
just-
you
I just don't
are.
want you guys in trouble.
You don't have to try it. You are.
I mean, we can talk about the steer, we can talk about my night off.
Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
And
come
his-
your steer
talk
has
about
the
his
bus
black
back
ops.
fence so bad?
I can't help it that you picked an honorary steer,
All right, now I want to ask an important question here.
E, all of the above.
E, all the above.
You all the above. It
That's
has to
the
do
answer.
with my modem
Uh-oh,
on my computer at home.
yeah.
What do you recommend? What kind of modem do you recommend?
Well, you have Comcast.
Yeah. I've got an old, right now I've got their modem, but it's aged.
Why don't you call them up and ask them for a replacement?
Do you think I should do that as opposed to buying one?
I would.
You don't have to buy one. Kirk will
Because usually
make
they
you
replace
one.
it for free.
Yeah.
With all the pieces we
I
got
said I
over
would
him,
do.
Kirk will
I
make
know
one.
I'm paying rent on it.
You pay rent on it.
Electronic,
Tell me you need a
When's the
replacement, it's not
electronic
working.
election?
I
Should
keep
be April.
getting a
Oh, okay.
DRS or DSL or DS something or
I
other.
can kind of
Oh,
keep track of
just
what,
tell me you want it replaced.
around about March,
I
I
get
start
mine
asking
replaced every
just
couple years.
Oh,
in
do
case
you?
it's March.
I've had this one.
You know, the
Yeah,
recycling
you-
glass
it's
now.
the old adage, the squeaky wheel
Yeah,
gets the
Katie
grease.
told me that.
The
Where at?
first-
Call them up and bitch.
the first
Like,
Saturday,
they'll-
this
they'll
coming
set something
Saturday,
to replace it.
Pima,
Can I just go really
emergency
up? I
management.
need something.
Unfortunately, they need to come by, well, on residential, they might be able, is it residential or?
Yeah, that's residential.
They might be
Well,
able to
they
shoot
got
it.
all this stuff.
I have to have them
and-
come
and
out because
crew
it's a
people
business
there.
mode.
There
Oh,
must have been
really?
about,
Yeah, I have a business account.
eight
Yeah.
adults and about 15
Little
kids.
family job.
Yeah.
Oh, taking stuff out of the
I've got
cars.
this stuff over.
I didn't even have to get out of the truck.
Wow.
And I only had one bag, you know. I just popped the trunk.
So it's this Saturday.
This Saturday
What
from
time?
9 to 11
Great, great.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
I've got a 5-gallon bucket full and I'll have more by then.
Yeah, well, I'll come by and just throw it in my bag if you want. So you don't have to make a trip, I'm going over there.
Sounds
Just
good.
like electronic recycling. I go over to him and load my pickup truck with stuff.
Alright.
Stuff does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I was under the
I'll
impression
talk
that this
to-
meeting was boring. This was pretty exciting.
We've never had a crowd here.
Yeah, this is the first
Occasionally
time.
we have John come, sometimes,
Yeah,
Miss
and
Hogan
Bob
comes.
who show up.
You know, I have to say, I was kind of impressed how exciting this meeting was. It was like a supervisor meeting. We had everyone talking.
Well, it would have been nicer if Cindy could have made it, you know.
Yeah, that would have been priceless.
Oh, well.
you
Let's
can't-
not ruin a good evening.
Okay.